Hey, I'm Mack. Welcome back to my channel. As always, if you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe and consider joining my Patreon for access to new videos 12 to 24 hours early, ad-free. Well, I just have to say, you guys, it is so hard to admit when you've been so wrong. But I just have to, okay? I have to admit, you guys, I have been so thoroughly refuted and defeated. You know, I can't tell you how wrong I've been. I've been upgraded to Emperor of the wrong empire, okay? I called Dave Hollis because I am climbing the wrong ladder to wrongness, okay? Just epic fail. Because I mean, this is me taking accountability, okay? Because it's hard to share this with you guys, but it's only right that I do. So Chad, okay, from iGenius, and Jasmine of WFABB have clapped back, okay? They're shutting down these high school bullies, okay? So someone call Gabby Hanna, okay? Because we're bullies. We're bullies. We need to stop. The anti-MLM community is now over, so everybody go home after we watch this video. Because I need to share with you guys so that you know how wrong that I was. Okay. Let's go.
Hey everyone. Hello. Wow. Okay, so a lot of things have been happening with
All right, Jasmine, you better be careful or Chad the iguana is going to eat those spiders on your eyes.
WFABB. We've been in a huge transition, and I'm so excited to, come on here and share more credible information about this company. There has been a lot of things up in the air that has been said that has been false. And we just want to come on here and clarify. And I was just trying to figure out how I could come on here and address and make a video. But then I thought, you know what? Why don't we bring somebody from iGenius to come on here and just elaborate more about this company, iGenius, and the facts behind iGenius. So I'm bringing up Chad. He is the president of this company, and I want him to come on here and just share everything, all the credibility, all the facts about this company, so that you guys can get the proper information coming.
I agree. Why don't you share the credibility with us? Just share all the credibility
From us.
Jasmine, thanks a bunch for inviting me. When you reached out and you kind of just told me what was going on and had the idea maybe to just do a quick little Zoom, I thought it was an awesome idea because, yeah, I've been, a couple of people have told me about some of these videos and things that are flying around out there, and yeah, a lot of misinformation, right? And it's not like we're upset or frustrated by it. We just want to make sure that
yeah, you're definitely not. That's why you're like barely restraining your like panic. Yeah, is that it? I kind of don't buy this whole narrative that it was Jasmine's idea. I don't think it was. I think what happened is he was completely blindsided by the absolutely voracious appetite the anti-MLM community had for content about this news item, I guess, for lack of a better term. I think he was completely blindsided by that, and then he's now in like panic damage control mode. And because I don't think that Jasmine would have been that alarmed by it, because she's used to it. I bet what happened was he starts panicking and she's like, yeah, like, I have a very large MLM team and they're the anti-MLM community. Of course they're talking about me, Chad. Like, that I am the thing they're anti. And he probably is like panicking. He's like, oh, we got to set up this, thing so that I can, set the record straight or whatever the hell. Like, yeah, I think that's what's happening. He panicked.
Truth is out there and just kind of set the record straight. And so, before I jump into it, if it's okay, Jasmine,
He's trying so hard not to make mouth sounds.
I'll just kind of explain who we are. Like, what is iGenius? iGenius is, technically, and in the way we're registered, we're a publisher of financial education and research, right? But our platform goes a little bit beyond that, beyond just like, providing people access to videos and tools and different live education and stuff. We also have this kind of ecosystem of strategic partnerships. And, we partner with companies. We leverage our economies of scale as a company to go to different third-party companies that really would make sense for our members to utilize or whatever. And we negotiate.
Am I imagining it, or is he, I swear he is trying so hard not to make any mouth sounds. Oh my God.
Perks or benefits for them, even though they're not companies that we own or anything else like that. They're just partnerships. And so beyond the financial education component of what we do, we offer a whole bunch of different perks and benefits to third-party platforms and products. And then as a result, we have this, what we really consider a really cool platform that can help people, get their finances in order, live better lives, but by doing all that. And so, yeah, that's kind of what we are in a nutshell. One of the things that's really important to stress, as I watched a couple of these videos and stuff like that, I think that there's at times a little bit of a misconception that we're trying to claim that somehow we found the magic bullet that people can basically, pay for one of our memberships and they're going to get rich, right? And that's absolutely just not what we're teaching. It's not what we're all about. In fact, we teach people that in order to, get yourself financially fit or, to really get your finances in order, it takes, a long time, years and years. It's funny, I kind of cringe when people talk about this whole like financial freedom, right? You hear that term in all different, industries and stuff like that. But really, financial freedom is something that takes like decades to create, right?
Okay, so where is that in any of your marketing? Your marketing doesn't say that. Your marketing says, oh, you're going to get these alerts. These alerts are going to make it so easy for you to do the investments the way that's going to get you a return. You're going to do live trading with experts. You are going to get everything that you need to become, a successful investor. I didn't hear anything in there about how it's going to take decades. That's not what you're selling to people. What you're selling to people is that you're going to get all these alerts. You're going to get everything you need. So like, how could you possibly fail at it? Like,
and so anyway, the point is we are believers that the education that we provide can help somebody get their finances in order. It can help somebody, make better decisions with their money. And then, access to some of these different third parties and different companies that people, they get access to with our company, we think are just additional benefits that continue to add value to our membership. So look, let's jump right into it. One of the things that I want to address head on that I've seen in some of these videos that I've heard kind of floating around is that, we were legally forced change our name because we had like scammed people out of money and something had happened that the government said oh, you better change your name, or we had to do it.
What? I think you're misunderstanding. I don't know if you're purposely misunderstanding what we're saying or if you're actually misunderstanding it. I don't think anyone's saying that the government required you to change the name of the company. I think when they say that you were forced to change the name, they mean that you were not actually forced, but if you wanted to continue to attract customers, then you had to change your name because your previous name had been so tarnished by the government enforcement actions and the bad PR from being the target of a government enforcement action. I don't think anyone's saying that the government required you to change your name. It's more you had to do it in order to continue to attract customers because your previous name was associated with such bad publicity.
Like hide behind something. So let's be really clear. All right. So the company has been around for, like over 6 years. We have reinvented ourselves a couple of times. Like 4 or 5 years ago, the company was called.
You've been around for 6 years and you've reinvented yourselves a couple of times is honestly, that's a lot.
Wealth generators, right? And in an effort to improve the the branding and really kind of create new excitement, and ultimately that name was just not a really good name, to be honest with you. The company changed the name to Kuvera, and that was a branding change. That was just basically a brand name change. And then in January of this year, the company changed from Kuvera to iGenius. But there was 2 really big differences between those changes. The WG change, the wealth generators change to Kuvera, was more of like just branding. It was more just like, hey, we've got a new story. We want to tell people, but much of the the decision makers and stuff like that were the same. The change from Kuvera to iGenius was basically a completely new company launch, right? So the only thing that stayed the same was the company's tax ID number. But there was new people making decisions. The old decision makers had made quite a few, like decisions that weren't good. Just speaking really openly. So new people were in charge. New software, new products, a new compensation.
But you're still at the top. So all these decision makers that you're talking about are downstream from you, and it's your responsibility to choose them and to direct their decision making. I mean, because it starts at the top. So don't act like you're passive in this. Like, people were making bad decisions that were out of your control. You're the president of the company.
Structure, and so it was a new company, and that's why the name was changed. Companies change all the time when there's really big changes happening. They just announced recently that Square is now going to be Block, right? That's those are big things. I mean, Google, you guys, is Alphabet. Facebook was changed their name to Meta.
Yeah, okay. See, and actually Facebook is a really good example of this, because the reason that Facebook changed their name is because the name Facebook has been so tarnished by all of the unethical and just absolutely reprehensible conduct by Facebook. So it's actually it's really good that you bring up that example, because it's a really good example of a company that was not forced to change their name, but kind of were by public opinion, because the previous name had so much bad juju around it.
That's going to be powered by Meta, whatever it may be. So that happens, right? It's just something that happens. But just make it really clear that the company that we launched in January is not the company that, Jasmine, I know you were a part of, several years back. It's not the same company. We literally started.
Then why do you keep linking it back then? Why didn't you just start a brand new company?
In January, as far as on this journey with the people that are making the decisions, with the products that we are offering, completely fresh start. And it was a new company that was birthed in January of 2021. Now, as a part of that, where people are saying, well, they had to change their name, they were forced to change their name, they always cite that there was a CFTC fine that was paid by the company. Look, we don't hide behind that. It's in our public filings. So basically the CFTC, which is one of the regulatory bodies in the US, they came in, they asked us to provide them every detail about our business. They basically looked upside down, inside out, the entire company, inside out. And they basically said that one of our products that we were offering, they felt like it was not in line. It was deemed as, we weren't licensed to be offering it. It was a Forex software product that we had a contract with a company to create. It plugged in, it connected to people's trade accounts. And they said that it was, that we shouldn't be offering it. So we discontinued it. We paid the fine, and that's that, right? They didn't shut our company down. They didn't send us like a cease and desist. They literally just evaluated our company. And at the end of it, they, we made the changes necessary, and we rolled on, right? And the interesting thing is the CFTC, the SEC, the FTC, all these regulatory bodies, from time to time, they take a look at what a company's doing, especially when a company, starts to do, good things. And so, we have had other inquiries where they looked at our business and they were completely satisfied with our business practices. So those are just 2 things I want to address. Okay, let's.
So I'm sure, based on what I just looked up, I'm sure that the name change is completely just, it's I'm sure it's just branding, and it's not that you're trying to hide anything. I'm sure it's not related to the fact that when you type wealth generators or Kuvera into Google, you get the stuff about those enforcement actions, but when you type in iGenius, you don't. That's probably just a coincidence. It's because they're not trying to hide anything with this.
Let's go to another one, right? One of the YouTubers that I saw basically said that people would be much better off joining a startup than iGenius, which I thought was just kind of interesting. Again, everybody has their own opinion. I'm not here to say they aren't, but we are essentially a startup. I mean, we pre-launched in January was technically the way that we positioned it. We had still a couple of things with our products and our platform that we were kind of finalizing, and then we kind of fully launched in June of this year. So for all intents and purposes, this is a startup. I guess the only difference is that we are backed by a publicly traded company called InvestView, which is actually a strength. It's a good thing, which means we are, we're backed by a stable, secure company. InvestView has other companies that they own or that are a part of their umbrella. One is, one of the largest Bitcoin mining operations in the country. And they have, like a broker dealer, they have other stuff. So yeah, we are one of their subsidiaries. But we're essentially a startup, right? January is when we got things really going. Okay, let's talk.
Couple things here. You're not a startup when you're publicly traded. Okay, you're not. You're just not. Categorically, you are not. Okay, I work for a startup. You don't work for a startup. Second thing, it's very different when someone says join a startup. They're not talking about joining a multi-level marketing company. They're talking about either launching your own business, like your actual own business, not joining a multi-level marketing company, or going to work for someone who is starting a company, because you have a better chance of making a profit in your own business than you do in a multi-level marketing company. That's what they're talking about. And when you're talking about you having a startup, you're talking about your actual employees. You're not talking about your consultants. You're talking about the people who act like, you're talking about like Christian Crabtree and the people who actually work for you, who collect a salary from you, not the consultants. So it's very important to make a distinction between actual employees and network marketing consultants or whatever the hell, because it's not the same thing. Okay. And furthermore, another reason you're not a startup is because I have to assume that InvestView is able to make decisions for you, and probably does on a regular basis, or is at least able to override your decisions. That's very different from working for an actual startup where, for example, for my company, I interact directly with the owner. Like if I want to change the way we're doing something, I can just ask him and we can just do it, because it's his company. He owns it. So that's very different from your situation. So don't say you're a startup, and don't try to suggest that your multi-level marketing consultants are joining a startup, because they're not. They're joining a network marketing company. That's very different from being employed by a startup or starting your actual own business. Okay.
Talk about one other thing. I heard this and I thought this was interesting. One of the videos was basically saying, look, anyone can go buy crypto. You don't need iGenius to buy crypto or to buy Bitcoin. Well, of course, everybody can go out and buy crypto. That is obvious. And it's not about purchasing Bitcoin. That's not what we are doing. We're trying to teach people. And what we are doing is helping people learn the best ways to get their money working for them, right? So we're helping people get educated about the blockchain and about blockchain projects and about the different coins and currencies that are.
I would love to just sit him down here and just go, all right, Chad, everything you know about blockchain, go.
In the space, you absolutely can get a lot of the same information for free on YouTube or on podcasts. But the difference is is that in our live sessions, in our trainings, in our education, it's dynamic. You have a support system. You have a group of people that you can talk to. You can actually, ask questions to market experts, people that are studying it, people that are in it every single day. And so it's very interactive. It's very dynamic. I like to compare it to like a gym membership, right? You can go online and you can learn all of the same workout routines. I mean, from diet, nutrition, to technique, to how to have a good workout to get in shape, to be healthy. But guess what? Like millions of people, they still pay for a trainer, or millions of people, they still pay to go to a class, like a fitness class, even though they could go get that all for free. Well, why? Because they get a support system. They get access to ask questions and have somebody kind of help them out. And that's exactly what our platform is. Of course, there's a lot of free information out there. And of course, you don't need iGenius to,
Okay, but you know what? Even when it's in the analogous format of a fitness product or a gym membership, we're still against that, because iGenius is to crypto investing as Beachbody is to a gym membership. Okay, so the issue is that you're an MLM. I mean, it's also an issue that you're selling your bullshit investment advice, because here's the thing. The problem is the product you're offering cannot possibly be worth it. It can't. It's just not. It categorically is not worth the price you are charging people. It would be more like if a gym consisted of like, 2 mismatched dumbbells and a broken treadmill, and was charging people $1,000 a month and promising that they would gain 200 pounds of muscle in 2 weeks. Okay, that's your gym here. Okay, that's what you're doing. Sure, that is a product that exists, but like the issue is your iteration of it is not worth the price you're charging for it, if it is worth anything at all. And it's misleading how it's being marketed. And on top of that, it's an MLM.
Buy Bitcoin. But what we are providing is so much more than just, telling people to buy Bitcoin. It's access to market experts. And in addition to that, and what iGenius, like I said in the beginning, we also have these third-party strategic partnerships where people are getting access to, crypto platforms that they wouldn't maybe get access to otherwise, or they're getting like perks and benefits. Like, for example, we have a partnership with a company called CoinZoom. CoinZoom is, it's a crypto exchange. And our members, we negotiated with CoinZoom that our members get like a higher up card level, and they can get their card shipped for free, like small little perks, right? But those perks, they kind of stack up when we have many of them. Or one of them is, we have a partnership with a company called Endotech, right? And Endotech, they're normally set up to really help institutions or like high net worth individuals. But our members, we have a little link in our back office that, people can click on. And if they go over to Endotech, if one of our members does, they create an account, they're able to do it and connect the Endotech software to their crypto account with like a much smaller account minimum, right? So that's, again, the perk and the benefit. And the cool thing is, and this is an important thing to point out, that again, we create education. So like when our members click on that link and go over to Endotech, we don't get paid. The reason I bring this up is because in one of the articles out there, there was this whole big thing made about like, well, we aren't reporting our revenue from Endotech. We aren't reporting the assets under management that we are managing at Endotech. And it's like, well, of course we're not, because number one, we don't even get a finder's fee. We negotiated a deal where we pushed all the benefit for our users. We didn't even, the company doesn't get the kickback or any sort of thing. We just basically have a link there and an agreement in place that allows our members to get, their account created at a lower minimum, get an account created and have that software working for them.
Okay, he's doing kind of a terrible job of explaining this. This is the thing that I have the least of a problem with on this company. Like the Endotech thing doesn't really bother me that much. I do think that people are not quite understanding it. So basically it's this AI, and the issue is usually you have to, you have a very high minimum investment that you have to put in, or they won't accept, they won't let you invest with their little AI program. and the deal that iGenius has lets you do it for only $1,000. Like you can invest $1,000 and you can have it go through their AI or whatever. Whereas normally it would have to be a much higher minimum investment. But I still am not going to give $1,000 to some AI that I don't know anything about to invest in cryptocurrency. I mean, that's still $1,000 that I could lose. But I mean, whatever. This is the thing I have the least problem with.
And we make nothing on it. So when it comes to reporting, to the SEC, we have, we pay attorneys and we have a whole team of people at InvestView that they do things the right way. I almost found that one like humorous, that like the point was being made that somehow we're like, we've pulled the wool over the eyes of the SEC and we have all this revenue that we're not reporting from Endotech. Well, like Endotech's a partnership. They're a third-party company. And so that's one more, Jasmine. Sorry, I'm going on. I've made some notes. I'm just kind of like plowing through a few of these just real quick. So one of the things that I think is really interesting is in a lot of these videos, iGenius gets called a Ponzi scheme, right? They call it like a Ponzi, which is really laughable, first of all, because it would be really interesting that if we are really a Ponzi scheme, that is owned by a publicly traded company that is reporting to the SEC, that is filing, public filings, 10Qs, 10Ks, all that stuff with the United States regulatory agencies involved, that they would just be totally cool with that, right? Well, yeah, there's this other, part of, I mean, it's laughable. Point is, we're not a Ponzi scheme, and there are Ponzi schemes out there, and so I understand why people quickly draw to that as the quick, like, they stereotype or whatever it may be. These Ponzi schemes, they're creating their own, crypto coins. They're guaranteeing people like 5% a day with no work. I mean, they're crazy, right? And it's completely different than what we are doing. I mean, like I said, we're backed by a publicly traded company. We dot the I's, we cross the T's, we make sure that we're compliant. And again, InvestView has other companies outside of just iGenius that are, that are drawing attention from regulators. And so anyway, it's very clear we've worked really hard to make sure that we are doing things the right way.
Okay, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if people have been saying it's a Ponzi scheme. I don't think it's a Ponzi scheme. I think it's a pyramid scheme. Obviously, he's not going to concede that because we're operating on the whole loophole that like there's a product, even though the product is pretty flimsy here. Maybe I should just go ahead and explain the difference between a pyramid scheme and a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme is like Bernie Madoff, or like in a Ponzi scheme, you have a central figure that is collecting all the money and then doling it out. So, for example, let's say I tell everyone like, I will take your money and I will invest it and I'm going to get you like a 10% return. It's going to be amazing, and I'm promising like crazy high returns. And so from, person A, let's suppose I take $500, or let's say 1,000, because that'll be a nice easy math. Let's say I take $1,000 from person A and I say, all right, well, with your return, you're going to get $2,000. I'm going to double your money, and so in order to give that return to person A, I try to get person B to give me $1,000 to invest. And so then I give that over to person A, as their return, but that's not really the return. That's really the stuff that person B put in. And then I'm going to give, person B $1,000 in a return. And I also need to get their initial investment back. So I go to person C and I get them to invest $1,000 and I give that to person B, and like, see what I mean? Like, but it's all going through me. See, it's not like you don't have like this endless chain the way that you do in a pyramid scheme or an MLM, which are the same thing. Like you don't have like a downline in a Ponzi scheme. In a Ponzi scheme, it's all interfacing with one person, and eventually, the Ponzi schemes, they tend to be very successful initially. They spread very quickly because they're very convincing, because person A and person B and everyone who invests until it collapses, they got actual returns. Now they didn't, remember though, they still don't have their initial investment back. They're just getting, what they believe it has earned in returns. The issue in a Ponzi scheme is eventually either you're not getting enough new investors to sustain it, or too many people want their initial investment back, and then you don't have it because it's not there, because you haven't actually been getting returns by investing it. You've been just getting new investors and giving their money to other investors as their return. That's a Ponzi scheme. So I don't think this is a Ponzi scheme. I think it's a pyramid scheme. But yeah, so that's the difference between a pyramid scheme and a Ponzi scheme.
And again, I'm not like upset or knocking the people that maybe like are saying that we're a Ponzi scheme. I get it. If you hear about crypto MLM, an MLM that is, has products in the crypto space, then the immediate reaction is, well, it must be a Ponzi scheme. Well, the fact is,
well, I don't think you're a Ponzi scheme. I think
it's just not the case. I mean, our success is not tied to just like recruiting, like a Ponzi scheme would be, right? It just all is paid off of the next person that comes in. We actually have many more customers than we do distributors, or those people that are just using the products. We have more of those than those that are actually out there actively, sharing the products or distributing those products. And those numbers, they bear out, and they're in our public filings. The number we are the most proud of is that we have really strong retention. In fact, our retention, revenue has grown every single month since we launched. And in fact, it's outpaced even our enrollment revenue, right? So in other words, we are keeping people.
Okay, you're really proud of all of these numbers. You're really proud of, the amount of customers you have versus distributors, and your retention and everything. Would you care to share any of those numbers? Do you have any of them on hand, or are we just gonna take you at your word?
At a better rate than we're even bringing people onto the platform, because they're excited, they're happy with their products, they're happy with the services they're getting access to, and they're staying members, and they're really excited about it. So bottom line is that we have we have a lot more customers than distributors. We're not a Ponzi, but I get it. There's kind of just naturally some hate out there for network marketing companies, or companies that use network marketing as their distribution method, and so therefore I get it. I'm just trying to make sure everybody understands that is not the case. All right, the one thing I do want to say is I've watched a couple of these videos, and Jasmine, I know that you've been the person that's been attacked in a lot of these videos, and again, I know you're kind of like over it. It doesn't matter. People can say what they want to say. I mean, I've been in some of these videos as being like made fun of and attacked, which is like whatever, dude. I can handle that all day long. But I was taken back at like the bullying that goes on some of these videos, like really like lacking taste, lacking tact in the way that they go about it. I mean, one of our employees at iGenius, his name is Christian Crabtree. He's our director of sales. Hardworking, just a good employee, great guy, right? And one of the like YouTube people were like making fun of his car, like making fun of him as a person, which I'm just like, man, that I hope that speaks to the type of people that are, kind of putting out this information. I mean, who cares what somebody drives, right? I mean, who?
Ooh. Oof. Yep, that's me. All right. Can I just clarify here about what I wasn't making fun of what he drives. I don't care if someone drives a Dodge or whatever. Okay. Like, why would I make fun of what you're driving? I drive a fucking Kia. Before that, I drove a Scion XB, okay? Like, but here's the thing. I'm not going around acting like and proclaiming myself to be absolutely just ballin' and predicating a scheme that I'm running on the social proof that I am just absolutely a ballin' when I am categorically not, okay? I'm not doing that. I'm not someone who's saying that I know how to create all this wealth and all this money and all this and that and the other, okay? So I just want to be absolutely clear on this, that I'm not making fun of what he drives. I am pointing out that it does not seem like the reality matches what is being claimed, because it's kind of like when you criticize someone, in Monet's hair. It's not that it kind of has the same format as bullying, I guess, But the thing is, the thing that you are it's relevant to the thing you are selling. Like I wouldn't have said anything about the car if it wasn't for the fact that you're selling something that professes to be able to build wealth. And so that is pertinent to the credibility of your claim. And so that's why I brought it up. I brought it up because it is relevant to the product you're selling and the claims that you're making.
Ever said that your success or the success of the company comes down to what a guy who's an employee of the company drives. In fact, if we truly are a company that teaches people how to be financially educated, then one of those things we would teach is that cars are a depreciating asset and actually not a good investment. And so
I agree with this 100%. If there's one thing that you take away from me about cars, it is that a car is not an investment. A car is a monetary black hole that will only just suck up more and more money as it gets older. Okay, a car. I agree. A car is not an investment. Here's the thing, though. That's not the only thing that I pointed out. I also pointed out the value of his home. And the last time that I checked, a home was one of the smartest investments that you can make. So what's the deal with that? I'm just saying that the picture that I'm seeing does not seem to match the claims being made. I just don't believe that someone who's making like 7 figures would live in a 6-figure house, low 6-figure house, and would drive like a pretty like low end car. I don't buy it. Like they might not drive like a super luxury vehicle, but like maybe like an upper mid-range vehicle or something. I just don't, I'm sorry, I don't believe it. I don't believe that they would live in a sub $200,000 house and would drive a Dodge. I just don't.
If somebody's not driving a flashy car, that's actually probably a sign that they're using the information that we provide. I know that, Jasmine, there was some insults made to some of the people like on your team. Like I saw like some pretty just awful, like making fun of one of the girls on your team, like the way she looks, the way she puts herself together. There was comments made about that. Again, I hope that speaks to kind of the type of people that we're putting these videos out there. I mean, the videos I watched, these people had done zero research on our company, right? There was personal attacks. There was these generalizations or these quick assumptions made, and yet they were claiming to be doing a comprehensive review or a deep dive of our company. I mean, to give you an example, in one of the videos, the person was talking about one of our products, again, one of these third-party products that our members can get access to. We have a partnership with a company called Onero.
Way to go on fixing the angry eyebrows there, Chad. Your body language was getting very aggressive there for the last like 10 seconds, but you pulled out of that nosedive.
And people can, they can purchase these packages of a cryptocurrency called NDAO, right? And the YouTuber was like saying it as NDAU, right? Well, if they had gone to our website or if they'd gone to the website of NDAO, they would have like watched like a 1-minute video just to kind of understand what it is. And they would have learned that, oh, it's called NDAO, not NDAU, which actually it's a really cool product. Go check it out. They're a company that were created 2 years before iGenius.
Listen, I know that I'm a YouTuber, but a lot of times when I'm looking something up, I get really annoyed when I cannot just find a written summary because I can read something faster than I can watch it. You know what I mean? So I don't think that I just don't agree with him on this item here. Like, I mean, why would you assume that something in all caps was pronounced out like that?
Launched. We had no partnership with them prior to that. And yeah, we think it's a really cool cryptocurrency. They have all sorts of utility. People, it has like staking rewards.
Where can I spend NDAO?
And all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I digress. But the point is, these people know nothing about us. They didn't talk about actually all the additional things that people love and the reason why our retention continues to be so great and why we're growing and why people are super excited about our platform. You know, we have a discount travel engine people get access to. Again, one more perk, one more benefit. You know, there's access to these different third parties. Oh, one thing I wanted to bring up.
I swear to God, if you say third party one more time, I'm going to fucking come through the screen and punch you in the face.
I thought this was really interesting, and it's worth noting. And for people to understand, one of the comments that was made was that, you know, we have this partnership with Endotech, as I talked about. This is this third party company. They create artificial intelligence crypto trading software that their software can connect to somebody's, you know, crypto exchange account. And the YouTuber was like, there is no such thing as artificial intelligence or any sort of like software that could ever, you know, factor in all of the things that could impact the market. I'm like, okay, look, of course not, right? But that's the whole idea of using like artificial intelligence is, you know, the software starts.
I don't think that my point was like clear on this. A lot of times with these crypto AIs, they get very hung up on the little like candlestick chart that shows like the rises and the falls, and they're looking for like geometry of the chart to like predict it. Like it's a very like weird thing about the crypto bro AI investing community is they're always like, it's always like the shape of the graph and like, oh, and if it goes up like by this and da 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 da. Like, okay, maybe this is the, you know, the first AI I've seen for crypto that also factors in news items and other human factors rather than just looking at the shape of the chart. But I will say it is very prevalent in specifically the crypto space for AIs to just try to like read the tea leaves of the actual geometry of the chart. And that was my point there, is that type of thing doesn't account for the real things that influence the way that chart is gonna look. I mean, and maybe I'm wrong about that, but usually in the crypto space, that's what that means.
Be the one that makes the decisions and factors in like 100 different things in order to execute the trades. You're not having a human, you know, that's influenced, you know, heavily or you know, is reacting to things. I mean, it's.
Yes, but see, that's the thing. The human reaction, that's what causes the markets to shift, is that.
That's why you would use artificial intelligence. And the bottom line is we have people all over the world that really like that product and they're using it and they're happy with it. But I thought that was a funny thing to point out that, you know, that could never happen or that there could never be. And again, maybe
I specifically did not say that it could never be. I said that it doesn't currently exist.
Maybe the reason that YouTuber took issue with that is that maybe they're thinking that we're claiming that's a, you know, a perfect strategy, that everybody's winning, nobody's losing, everybody's millionaires within. It's not the case, right? So that strategy, that company Endotech, they've had losing months, they've had multiple losing months. That it's like any other you know, trading strategy. There's wins, there's losses, but overall we have a lot of customers, they're happy with their performance.
And you miss the point, like the deserts miss the rain. So, okay, let me just summarize here. My issue with that is I believe what this product is one of these AIs that just analyzes the little movements of the price charts, okay? In my opinion, that is always bullshit, because the market is influenced by people and their decisions, and you can't read that from looking at the little geometrical things going on in the chart. That's my point.
And, you know, we're really excited about that. Anyway, the point of this video, and I'm going on, I've just got like a couple more things, but was just to kind of set the record straight. If you don't want to join iGenius, don't join iGenius. Totally get it. And I understand, you know, the hate towards MLMs has been around for a long time. It's not for everybody. But, you know, like bullying videos that are literally like bullying and distasteful, just really, you know, going at people hard. I think that speaks to the type of integrity that's being used with some of these things, right? And then just blatant lies, right? Where people are just not taking the time to really understand what we do. I mean, one of the claims is that people are, you know, they're taken advantage of members, they're welcome to choose if they want to join the platform or not. And one of the claims was the company doesn't care if people are losing money or winning. They don't care. They're just making their money off of membership. Well, I mean, of course we care if people are making money and they're being successful in their, in this journey of learning how to invest and how to participate in the markets. We're providing the education, the tools, and we take that really seriously. We contract with market experts, and we, if they're not providing good information and good education, then people are not going to have success in the markets, and therefore people are not going to keep paying for their membership. And so, yeah,
no, they're going to keep paying for it because they feel like they've sunk cost into it, and they need to recruit people so that they can make back what they've already spent. Okay. You know what? Generally in life, I would say most of the time it is a massive red flag when someone has to justify a situation by going, oh, well, it's their free choice. Okay, because that's probably a bit of an oversimplification most of the time.
We care a lot about that. We monitor the performance of, the market experts that are providing, trade ideas, which people get access to. And if those are not turning out to be good ideas, then we obviously would, we have terminated several of those traders. So people aren't getting taken advantage of. It is an opportunity. People in most cases, they're doing it, as a side hustle, as a part-time thing to create, additional extra income if they are sharing the business, or if they're just using the products as a customer. Then it's another way for them to start to learn how to invest. We're by no means telling people that they shouldn't still go to a financial advisor and sit down and have a plan that way. We're providing people that are wanting to be, self-directed investors, that have that as one more part of their portfolio.
How are they self-directed if they're getting, alerts and shit from you? And where was the advice that they should go to a financial advisor in any of your presentations? Because I didn't see it.
We're providing a platform that's giving them, tools, education, and things that allow them to have success. Guys, at the end of the day, it's a business. Our members are seeing positive results. They're excited about the opportunity. By all means, if you have more questions, we're happy to address them. Go to our, the thing I always drive people back to, though, is go to investview.com and go to the public filings, and you can literally see every detail about our business. You can look and see what the revenues were and what we pay in commission. You can see all of it. It's all there.
Chad, get a better tripod. You're jiggling all over the place.
As a publicly traded company. So guys, I know that was a little bit longer than we had talked about, Jasmine. I apologize. I wanted to make sure that I covered all the topics, but listen, I really appreciate all that you're doing. Again, I know that you've been, the focus of some of these videos. Like I said, some of us have been too. It's at the end of the day, it's whatever. People are going to have their opinions, but I wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to set the record straight on a couple of those claims that were absolutely false. They were lies. They're inaccurate. And again, I hope that for everyone's benefit, that those that are, kind of making those personal attacks, that bullying stuff, I hope that stops. I think that, we've seen that enough in our world, that when people are, making fun of people. Or
Look how angry he is. Look at the eyebrows. He is pissed. I feel like, I don't know, someone get Logan to analyze. Oh, man. I just want to say that he has not refuted the claim that he's half iguana. So I think that was factual.
Or being, really hurtful. You just don't know what somebody's dealing with. You don't know what they're going through from a personal standpoint. So, and I don't claim to be perfect. I'm sure I've made mistakes in my life as well too. But I would just encourage all of us, inviting myself, to maybe think a little bit more before we make like a personal attack on somebody, because I just don't think that there's any room for that. If you don't like our company, if you don't like the idea of joining a company that teaches people what we do, if you think that it's not, then great. And you can have an opinion, make a video about it, but let's make sure that everybody understands where
he got all flustered and started making the mouth noises again.
Where the truth lies. Jasmine, sorry, I feel like I blabbed on, but I appreciate you having me on, and let's do this again sometime. All right. Thanks, guys.
I bet Jasmine had like already clicked out of the call because she's just like, yeah, I don't care. Well, guys, that was so difficult. So I hope that you can forgive me for being so wrong and such a high school bully attacker. Like, Chad, I'm sorry that I said that you were an half iguana and that you made lots of mouth noises. And I'm sorry for repeating it now. All right, everybody. I've been Mac. Peace out. Bye!